Hello, my name is Arnaud Bataille. I'm a researcher at CIRAD in France. I'm the co-head of the EU Reference Laboratory for Peste, petits, ruminants, PPR, and the OAE and FAO International Reference Laboratory for PPR. Here I'm going to talk about the geographic distribution of Peste, petits, ruminants. So PPR is the most widespread and devastating infectious disease of domestic small ruminants, so goats and sheep, with the OAE and FAO leading an ongoing global effort to eradicate this disease. So it's caused by a virus of the genus morbillivirus, and it's transmitted mostly by contact, not only with excretions and droplets from infected animals. So infections lead to mucopurulent ocular and nasal discharges, erosion of the mucosa, and acute diarrhea with mortality up to 100% in naive populations. In addition to goats and sheep, we have seen that some camels, suids, and some wild artiodactyls can also be susceptible to the disease. And the exact role of these hosts for the PPR epidemiology is not really well known for the moment, with the main hypothesis being that the disease we see in those hosts are mainly due to spillover from livestock. So here is the map of the global distribution of PPR as obtained from the OAE website from data from July 2018. So you can see that this disease is widely distributed across Africa, Asia, and Middle East. Here in the southern part of Africa, you could see I put a question mark. It's for Zambia for the moment. There's not been a report of really infection, but just some few serological results that need some confirmation. So maybe the southernmost presence is in Angola. Of note, in noticeable recent outbreaks, of course, one that was really very dramatic was the outbreak in Mongolia that happened between August 2016 and January 2017. First was detected in domestic small ruminants, but then there was also identification of deaths due to PPR in some gazelles, ibex, but also thousands of endangered Saïga. And it was really like the first big evidence of the impact this disease can have on wildlife and wildlife conservation. Then another outbreak of interest is the outbreak that happened in Georgia in 2016 as well. Here it was only in domestic sheep. The interesting bit of this new emergence is that the first hypothesis was that this disease arrived in Georgia via Turkey, which has been having a heavy circulation of PPR for some years now, but actually after genetic analysis it seemed that this outbreak more came from Africa, possibly through animal trade by plane. Then it's important to note that there's a lot of recent circulation of PPR in North Africa, in Algeria, in Morocco, in Libya. So with some questions regarding the threat for emergence in Europe from there, due to the threat in Spain, they put in place some big serology study in southern Spain using around 900 samples collected in 2015 and 2017, but all were tested negative. But really, the way PPR did enter once in EU was via Bulgaria, where there was an outbreak in June 2018. That was the first incursion of the disease in the European Union. So let's talk a bit more about this one. So it's important to note that this outbreak was detected very early through surveillance programs that you all know about surely. So you have the TAD program about PPR, and sheep and goat pox and lumpy skin disease, and then you have the trace program for FMD surveillance. So first, there was a detection in 2 villages with PPR positive sheep, with 5 cases confirmed by PCR. And then directly after this detection, there was control put in place following the EU directives 92/119, severe culling, establishment of protection and surveillance zones and around the affected villages, and ban of animal movement from these zones. Quite surprisingly, we observed a few clinical signs and mortality. So there was only mild clinical symptoms in sheep with nasal discharge, a bit of fever and bloody discharge around the anus, and lesions in the mouth, but with nothing in goats around the area. And only one of the sheep did die. Then, following the establishment of the surveillance zone, PPR was detected in 5 new holdings. So from there, it was decided by the Bulgarian government to enlarge the surveillance zone with active surveillance, so clinical examination and serological and virological sampling across the whole area at the border with Turkey. And there was no evidence of virus circulation. So since January 2019, we are back there to surveillance using through the programs of TAD and TRACE. So my concluding remarks here is that despite control efforts, PPR continues to emerge and re-emerge in Asia, Africa and Middle East, and also threatening Europe. And really has a high cost to economy, but also to biodiversity. And controlled transboundary movement of infected animals is really the most likely route of PPR spread, notably through animal trade or transhumance. And even if there are good and cheap vaccines available, it's not easy to control this disease. Really here we need regional, locally adapted strategies to efficiently control the disease. And we see here that we are still missing some important information on the virus and its epidemiology, and improvement of this knowledge and exchange of data and knowledge on the disease and its diagnostic are really key for efficient action, notably with the help of international research and lab networks. Thank you very much.